Good evening. This your boy Marquez Miller for Prison Passages. I believe this is day 5. Well, today is January the 24th, 2025. And this is my day 5, I believe. This is day 5, day 4, day 5. I can't remember the exact day, but this is Prison Passages. I'll type the date into when I enter it on to YouTube. I'm going to talk about, I know on my last one I said I was going to come back and start back in 1994 when I made it to Cummins. But I'm going to jump ahead because like I said, I'm not going to give you these stories in chronological order. They're going to go in as they come to me, as I see by my mood that I want to put certain ones out. So I'm going to talk about, I'm going to go back to Newport, and I'm going to discuss in 2001 when it was still being ran by Wackenhut, when I basically first got there. Now, if you're familiar with the Arkansas Department of Corrections, at that time there's 2 units in Newport. There's the McPherson unit, which is the women's unit, and then there's the Grimes unit, which is the men's unit. And they're just right across the field from one another. Not as far away like Cummins and Varner is, but they're like right across, just the gate separating. Now back then, they didn't have a kitchen to cook food at the men's unit, and they didn't have a laundry at the women's unit for the women to wash laundry. So as backward as Wackenhut was with this mess, when women cooked the food, and for themselves, and they cooked the food for the male inmates, and they would put them in a cart, all our food in a cart, and bring it over. They would bring it over to us. The men that worked the laundry at the men's unit was responsible for washing all the women's clothes, their bras, their panties, all their stuff like that. So there was this one particular day we were having spaghetti. And I think a lot of you all already know by now where this is going to go. Well, one day, on this particular day, we got our food in, and we were sitting down and we were getting ready to eat it. And other dudes, they was eating their food, and I was late getting my tray. So, cause I was in shower when they brought all the food in. So, mother was like, hey, say Maxine, that was my name in there, Maxine. They were like, say Maxine, you better come get your tray, man. This spaghetti kicking, it's bumping, it's hitting. So this was a couple of dudes that had went back for seconds and got seconds. So I get out, I dry off, I put my lotion and everything on, and I'm getting ready. I go up there and I get my tray. So I look at the spaghetti, then I smell it. This was just a habit that I always did. I smelled it, didn't smell no different. So I sat down to get ready to eat. This would raise my right hand to God. The guard come running up in the barracks. Stop eating the food! Stop eating the food! Don't eat the food! Put it down! So everybody like, boom, you know, I drop my, now I'm the last one to get my tray, but there's still some dudes eating. So I pushed the tray away. I'm like, what the fuck? So they like, oh my God, has anybody eaten the food? And they like, yeah, the whole damn barracks and ate. What are you talking about? So they wouldn't tell us what was going on. So me being the jailhouse attorney, I started inquiring what's going on. I was the oldest inmate up there at the time. I was 28 years old. And I'm like, what's going on? And they were like, just don't worry about it. I said, no, fuck that. Ain't no just don't worry about it shit. You just came running up in here, screaming and hollering at the top of your fucking lungs, and this is the way I'm talking to the guard, that don't eat this food, and this whole barracks has already eaten, and some has eaten seconds. I'm getting ready to eat, and you talking about don't eat the food? You gonna tell me what the fuck is going on? I don't want to hear no shit. So the lieutenant came down, and so he coming around through the barracks, and he's like, man. So he started getting food. I said, hey, LT, what's going on? Tell us what's going on. He was like, man. He said, I'm just gonna go ahead and tell y'all. The women put their menstruation in the spaghetti. Oh, bro. Ladies. Y'all sure know how to fuck with a nigga when y'all want to punish them. So I'm like, what the fuck? So dudes start throwing up. They start running to the bathroom and to the shower area, making themselves throw up. They throwing their food all up and everything. So I'm just standing here just looking at these motherfuckers like I was like the woman in the help. You didn't eat one, you ate two. It was crazy. So, y'all don't mind me, I'm making some hot dogs, oh man, they start getting the food up out of there and everything. I'm like, hold up, no, I want a sample of that. You know, they went to grab my tray. I'm like, nope, we finna analyze this shit. We finna go to the infirmary. We finna analyze this. I want some DNA. That's the way I was. I want to find out who the nasty slut buckets were that put their menstruation in the spaghetti and sent it over to the men's unit for us to eat. The entire population. So come to find out why they did it. So during the investigation of finding out why the women decided to basically poison the food or taint it with their menstruation, the niggas that were working in the laundry at the men's facility where we were at were jacking off and coming in the women's bras and panties. They sitting around there in the laundry sniffing these old panties and jacking off. And then when they get ready to climax, they hold the panties down and skeet in them. Or smelling and they smelling dirty bras and panties, bro. They didn't wash them and then smell them because they ain't gonna get no scent off of them except the detergent that they using. These niggas was smelling, bro, and I'm not gonna say their names because they are niggas. They are black. I'm not gonna say their name. They black. They are. They older dudes like me now, but they younger. They like in their 40s now. Too tall. But they was doing this and jacking off and shooting their nut in their bras and panties. So when the women would get all their clothes back over there to the women's unit, they shit stuck together. They already know what this is, because sometimes it was still kind of wet. You know, pull apart. There you go. Okay, so that was their payback, which was to put their bloody period into the spaghetti. So I don't know if any disciplinaries were written, I can't remember on that, but it was kind of like a tit for tat. So at that point, I started filing grievances and everything and started saying, hey, this got to change. Y'all got to fix us a kitchen, a full-fledged kitchen, full kitchen over here at our unit, and start having the men where the men cook over here. Period, point blank. That just got to go down. And then y'all build a laundry over there at the women's unit at the McPherson where they can wash and do their laundry. Cause this ain't going down no more. No. So they went in the process of started building the kitchen. But in the meanwhile, for weeks, we were fed sack lunches. They were feeding us sack lunches. And as far as the women, they still cooked their food over there at the women's unit because they had the kitchen. But as far as the laundry went, I believe what they did was they put a guard in the laundry room 24/7, or basically whenever inmates was down in the laundry cooking, I'm gonna say, because I'm cooking, I said that, down in the laundry washing clothes, they were being watched to make sure that they didn't pull their tallywhackers out and jack off in the women's bras and panties. So we went through a time of that. Now that story wasn't very long, but I'm gonna talk about some more stuff while I was there. So there was, or I'll just talk about another story. That's what I do. I remember, I'm gonna go back to, here's a good one. I'm gonna give y'all a good one. I'm gonna give you a real good one. Now, prison, like we see it, is whatever you make it. Now I'm gonna take y'all over to Lil Tucker. Lil Tucker, 1998. I want some of y'all to think back then what y'all were doing in 1998. Now I can't remember the exact month, but basically what happened was I had a husband, and my husband was a Crip. And I'm not gonna say his name. And I had a homeboy that I grew up with in the barracks. He was a blood. Well, however, every day that me and my husband would get ready to fix our food, we would fix our food, we would eat, and then we would go sit in front of the TV and watch television. So we sit on the bench And we sitting there, and everybody in the barracks, everybody at the unit knew we were together. All the officers and everything. Well, however, we sitting there, and my homeboy wants to be a hater. And I'm not going to say his name. I'm not going to say his name. He wants to be a hater and come over there, and when I tell you, he would sit down right in between us. Hell no. This ain't going on over here. Say, nigga, you ain't finna be sitting over here with my homeboy like this. Hell no, like that. And I'm like, dude, move your motherfucking ass. This ain't got nothing to do with you. Me and you ain't fucking. So, you know, what is it? You want something? If you want something, you ask, but you ain't gonna get none. Move your ass. So, he ended up getting up. So, the next day, because of my class, I was being moved out of the barracks. So me and my husband decided we're gonna have one last fuck that day. Now, there was a female officer working the barracks, one little young female officer. When people are in the shower, when the inmate's in the shower, the guard does not come into the shower area fully all the way back there. What she'll do is just stand at the thing and she'll say, how many in the shower? You'll say 1 or 2 or something like that. That's all they do. So this particular day, me and my husband, we in there, and hold on, how old was I then? So I can give y'all the age. I was 72, 82, 93, 94, I was 26. I was like 25 or 26, somewhere up in there. Yeah. So, yeah, somewhere up in there. So, and my husband, he was like this, like somewhere the same age as I was. He was, I think, a couple of years younger than me. So I was like 20, I was like 25, and he was like 20, 21, 22, somewhere up in there. Yeah, I like mine a little younger than me. Yeah. But anyways, so he and I were in there having some farewell sex. So, he was behind me. We were standing up, and he was behind me, and he was just, I mean, he had his hands around on my hips, and he was just going, he wasn't pounding or beating or anything like that. He was just love making, like as if we were listening to some R. Kelly, some bump and grind or something. And my eyes was closed, his eyes were closed, and we were just going. Oh my God. Thinking back then, oh my God, it was, oh dear Jesus. And, sorry, didn't mean to bring him into this. But, so when I opened my eyes, I looked up and I seen, it was count time, and I seen the officer, I seen her coming into the shower area. And she just come walking back there. She didn't ask how many in the shower or nothing. She just come walking. And when I tell you, I was in total shock. Now, the showers are shower stalls. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So ain't no 2 people got no business being in one shower stall. That's, I mean, by the time she walked in, it was too late for me to run or anything. She come walking back there to the shower stall. And she just stopped and stood there. And at this time, I was stunned. I was stunned. Cause I'm looking her dead in her face. And I'm like, I couldn't do nothing but just drop down like that and just close my eyes. And this nigga behind me, he ain't missed a stroke. His eyes must have been closed. And he just had me by my hips and he was just grinding. Man, she said, and turned and took off running. Now, she was a little young officer. She was probably like about 22, 23, something like that. She just said, and turned around and took off running. By this time, he done stopped. And he like, what the fuck? And I pulled up off of him. And when I pulled up off of it, it said, because it was soap all over. It just said, it just come out. So when it did, I turned around to him and I said, because he was still standing at full attention. And then it just started deflating. Hey, so I said, hurry up and wash up and get out your. So I jumped into the next stall. So I jump in there, I grab my douche bottle, I stick it up my ass, I squirting everything, getting all DNA out, just, you know, all that and everything. And here comes the lieutenant and the sergeant up in there. So they walk in there and they was like, by this time, my husband then got out the shower and he drying off. So the sergeant walks over to him and was like, come with me. So the lieutenant walked in there, she was like, Miller, come on up out the shower. So I'm taking care of my business. I said, I'll be out in a minute. She said, get your ass out the shower. So I get on out the shower. I start drying off and everything. I'm like, what is going on? And she was like, you know what the hell going on. Come on. So they take me out there. She take me out there. She tell me to start packing my stuff. So I'm like, packing my stuff? I said, what's going on? So she was like, look, I ain't got time to play with you. You already know what's going on. You know what you was doing. Don't make me add another charge on you, on your disciplinary. So back there at his rack, the sergeant was standing there while my husband packed all his stuff. So now I got another homeboy that sleep next to me. And he a Crip. So when the lieutenant walked away to go back to the officer to get whatever information she was going to get from her, I turned to him. I was like, man, how the fuck did she find out? Or what's going on? He said, man, Lil Mama, meaning the female officer, said that she walked in on you and your husband, but he said his name, and y'all was fucking. He said, your homeboy, and he said his name was the one who told her. He went up to the desk and told her. I turns around, and I called the nigga out. I said, say, you bitch ass, motherfucking punk ass, so motherfuckers in the band started like, hold up, wait a minute now, hold the fuck up. I said, ain't no hold the fuck up shit. This nigga went and told this bitch that me and him was in the shower fucking. He snitched on us. Y'all niggas need to violate this nigga, period, point motherfucking blank. So it was like, what the fuck, man? So they started asking, man, what the fuck you went in there and told you, and all like this. So I'm disrespecting him. I ain't gonna even lie. I disrespected him hard. Called him all types of names and everything, which I was ready to fight. I was gonna whoop the nigga, period, point blank. So they locked us up. Then when they transferred, they kept my husband, they busted us in class on the disciplinary. They kept my husband at Tucker unit. They transferred me across the field to Tucker Max. So I get over there to Tucker Max. When I get over there to Tucker Max, it's one of the OGs over there. And me and this OG had a respect thing for one another. He been in the penitentiary for years. And if anybody that knows about this story knows who I'm talking about in every aspect of this story. So he come to me, he was like, say Maxine. No, at that time, yeah. He just called me Marquez. He was like, say Marquez, let me talk to you. So I was like, what's up? And I know who he was. I knew of his infamous ways and everything. So I respected. I was like, what's up? He was like, say, word done got over here that you and blank that got into it over there at Lil Tucker, and you disrespected him by calling that. I said, did they tell you what he did? And he was like, no, what? I said, I was kicking it with this little dude that was a Crip. And he always came and sat down in between us, getting in between. He was like, well, y'all fucking? And I was like, no. I said, I never looked at him like that. I said, but he was acting like he wanted to fuck with me. And he was mad because he a blood, this dude a Crip, and he mad because me and dude fucking around. So he was like, I said, so he went and told the female officer that we were fucking. He like, hold up. So you and your partner was in the shower doing y'all thing. I said, exactly. The officer don't never come in there. No, she don't. She walked all the way back there because this Negro went and told her that we were in there fucking. He snitched on us. That's what it was. And he got us locked up, got us busted in class and everything. That's what the fuck happened. That's why I disrespected him. I sure did. I said, now, out of respect for you and the family, I apologize to y'all for the things that I said, but I don't apologize for using that towards him. Because he never should have snitched on me. So he was like, okay, the whole story didn't get over here to me and everything. I said, and it never does. I said, all mother was looking at was this bitch disrespected such, but never, well, such did this first to be disrespected. So then I got over there to Tucker Max. I never saw my husband again, but I did eventually run into him again. Some 1998, 99, 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003. I ran into him 5 years later. Was it? Friday? Yeah, I eventually run into him 5 years later. And in my next prison passage story, I think I'm going to jump over to there. That'll be for the Malvern unit. When the Malvern unit first opened in 2003. I think it was, yeah. Oh man, now that place there has some real memories. Ooh, it has some real memories. I can't wait to talk to you about Malvern Unit. Malvern Unit, let me tell you something. Well, I was a hoe. I ain't gonna even lie to you. I was a hoe while I was in prison. I am thankful that I never contracted any STDs while I was in there. And I know some of y'all probably was wondering that because we didn't use condoms. We didn't. But I'm thankful that I never contracted any STDs while I was in prison, because I had a lot of dicks. I'm not gonna lie, I had a lot of sex while I was in prison. I had quite a few husbands. I was a hoe. I was a little young slut. I was. I'm not gonna lie. I was. Oh God, I was. Oh, but well, yeah. But I appreciate y'all for tuning in for this segment of Prison Passages. Y'all take care. Till next time, y'all be good, and God bless your hearts and all your parts.